barbecue chicken. But it's persona non grata when you're trying to follow a low-carb lifestyle because most of your traditional barbecue sauces have way too much sugar. But I found one that is pre-made from your local grocery store, so you don't have to make it from scratch. It tastes delicious, and it only has 2 net carbs, sugar-free, so it's gonna reintroduce you to one of your favorites that you thought you might have to give up as part of a low-carb lifestyle, which is barbecue chicken. We are also going to make a side with the master of disguise when it comes to low-carb vegetables, cauliflower. Today he will be masquerading as mashed potatoes, technically. It's going to be mashed cauliflower. We're going to do the loaded version, but I'm also going to show you as we go along just the basic mashed cauliflower so that if you want to dress it up however you like, you can do that as well. Lastly, we're going to do just a simple side of broccoli, and that'll roll out our meal as the barbecue chicken complete dinner for this week's keto option. So let's get started with our chicken. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is I've got a whole cut up chicken that I got from the grocery store. I have found this is the easiest way to do it. I don't know any grocery store that doesn't do it this way. Just look for a full packaged cut up chicken. It's gonna have the chicken breast, it's gonna have the thighs, the wings, and the drumsticks. I've also got Tony's. This will give it just a little bit of a kick. You could use salt and pepper. We're gonna put this right under the skin. That way it's gonna season that meat directly and make it really juicy as it cooks. Lastly, we're gonna put the barbecue sauce on the outside of the chicken, and we're gonna let this marinate for about an hour. You could let it go up to overnight, but most of us, if you're like me, don't think about what you're gonna do until that day. So probably an hour is about all you got to work with. But first we're gonna go ahead and season underneath the skin. So the way I like to do it is take off, first of all, your jewelry, because it just gets gross. And roll your sleeves up, that way the food knows you mean business. And I just basically pour out some into my hand here because I get very weird about salmonella and germs, and so I just find this easier. So basically, I'm not gonna bore you with each piece. I'll kind of cut in and out like I usually do. But the way I do it is I take the skin and I just separate it. Let me move this so you can see. You just wanna kind of run your fingers in between the skin and the meat, like so. And you wanna just expose that meat there. And you could even break the skin if you want, but I find it's better not to because it just keeps it simpler. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of seasoning and just sprinkle like so. The Tony's will give it a little bit of kick, any kind of seasoned salt, but you could use just regular salt and pepper. Anything you want as far as the seasoning. However you would normally season chicken, do it like you would with this as well. Only keep in mind that you are gonna have the barbecue sauce, so make sure it's something that's gonna go along with it. Like you wouldn't wanna use lemon, for example, or something like that. Just keep it simple, keep it simple. So I'm gonna finish out the rest of these pieces, and then I'm gonna come back and we'll go to the next step. Okay, all seasoned up. And I went ahead and washed my hands, just keeping everything clean. Now the next step is where we're gonna actually put the barbecue sauce on. This is one of those things where I know you guys are gonna hate me because I'm not giving you exact measurements. It's really difficult because it's based on your taste. I probably used maybe a tablespoon total of seasoning for the whole chicken, okay? Because I like it to have flavor, but I don't want it to be overly powerful. And you know the rule that you can always add more later, but you can't take away once you've done it. So I tend to kind of err on the side of caution with just a little bit, and then you can add more later. But you guys know how you eat. If you like a lot of seasoning, just put it on there. And then we're gonna slather it with barbecue sauce however you want. But again, I probably used maybe about a tablespoon of seasoning. When it comes to the barbecue sauce, this is the one I was telling you about. This is called Hughes Smokehouse. And I'm sure a lot of you probably know there's different varieties of it. They're all sugar-free of the different varieties. But this one is just the original. I always say with barbecue sauce, just start with the original and work your way out. Hickory is usually good. The South Carolina version, those are usually good. But we usually just use the original sauce. This uses sucralose for the sweetening. So that's where you'll get your sugar substitute from, keto compliant. It does have modified cornstarch, so your true keto folks would not use this probably because of that, due to that ingredient. But the rest of the ingredients I found are pretty clean. I'm comfortable using it, so I think you'll be okay with it as well. But I'm probably gonna use, I would say about maybe quarter cup to a third of a cup to do the basting this first round. We're gonna add more later, so don't worry, but I'll show you what I do. And I utilize both the bowl. This is the bowl that I'm going to put in the fridge to let it marinate. So I kind of spread it out amongst the plate and the bowl to give myself more room to work with. But basically, and I have also found, by the way, when it comes to like basting brushes, these silicone brushes are great because they're so much easier to clean than the regular brushes and dry. Throw them in the dishwasher, good to go. Couldn't make it simpler. So basically, I'm going to just start with a layer. And I know you guys are going to watch this and be like, honey, that's a lot more than 1/4 of a cup, but oh well. So I start like this, and I basically just work my way around like a little paintbrush. We're just painting our food. We're having fun. We're having fun. I like to keep at least one clean hand, so to speak, that's not all salmonella germs. So this is going to be my dirty hand. I'm going to grab the chicken, move it over here to the bowl, finish basting. I know you can't see in the bowl, so this is boring, but basically I'm just taking sauce and getting a nice base layer. Take my other chicken breast, put it in. I'm going to take my clean hand, add a little more sauce to the bowl here. There you go. And then again, just kind of continue to where it will look like that in the end. So that's how you want it to look. Continue with the other pieces, the drumsticks. Everybody likes the drumsticks. Some people get specific. They'll get, just a whole pack of drumsticks and that's it. We like the variety. I like the chicken breast. I like the drumsticks, the thighs, all of it. As you know, low carb folks are always looking for the healthy fats, and so a lot of low carb folks tend to eat the dark meat because it's fattier. But like I said, we like it all. So, all right. So I'm just gonna finish this out. A nice even layer of barbacoa sauce all over our chicken. And then this is going to go straight into the refrigerator, and it's going to marinate again, like I said, for an hour to overnight. So if you think ahead and you're a planner, congratulations, you'll probably do the overnight method. But for the rest of us folks, it's going to be probably an hour. So I'm going to let this marinate, and I'm going to come back to you, and we're going to continue from there. All right, so it's been an hour. Our chicken should be good and marinated by now. It's going to go into the oven that I've preheated at 425. Now, I've told you guys before, I like to use an oven-safe thermometer so I can safely monitor the interior temp of the meat, both for safety and also for deliciousness, because you want to make sure it's not too dry and overcooked. And an oven-safe thermometer is the best way to do that. So let me show you how your chicken should look at this point. Literally about the same as when you put it in the fridge. It's going to look just like this. Now, I've got this ugly pan for a reason. We're going to make the cauliflower, which we're going to get to next. But I used a pan to do the method I showed you in a video before for the bacon, because it's got bacon pieces in it. And if you didn't see that video or you just want to know, it's easy, easy, easy. You take, in this case, I took 4 pieces of bacon to make about maybe half a cup of bacon pieces. Put those in a pan with foil, stuck that in a cold oven, preheated it to 400 degrees and just let it go on its own for about 20 minutes and then just check it to the degree of crispiness that you like. It's the easiest way to do it. But what I've done is I've actually saved the foil because I'm an efficient person and I like to not waste too much. So I saved the foil that I used for making the bacon, and that's what I'm gonna put my chicken into now. So basically we've got our chicken pieces, and when you wanna make sure, again, you don't cross-contaminate any tools that touch the raw chicken, toss them into the sink or wash them well before you use them again. I like to just grab another one, and I'm just gonna put our pieces in here, skin side up, into a foil-lined pan. Couldn't be easier. So we've got our thighs, and we've got our boobies. But that one's difficult. It's like he knows what's coming, so he's struggling. There's those two. And then we're gonna put our drumsticks next. Always a favorite. I mean, are you seeing how easy this is? Like, it's not complicated. It's actually pretty simple. As you know, is one of my favorite things about cooking meals. And not even just the weeknights, weekends too. I don't feel like cooking on the weekend. I feel like relaxing. This is a great one to do that with. All right, so I'm gonna put this to the side, take care of that in a minute. and then we're gonna toss this into our oven. Again, it's gonna go for about 40 minutes, maybe longer. I mean, you know, think about it as when you talk about how long something needs to go into the oven. Here's the thing, as I explained to friends of mine before. You might live in a house that was built in 1870 and someone else lives in a house that was built yesterday, okay? Your ovens are gonna be very different. So that's another reason you wanna have an oven safe temperature, or an oven safe thermometer rather, so that you know where you are during the cooking process. So it might be 40 minutes at your house, might be like, you know, 60 at someone else's, or it might take even up to like an hour and 10. You just wanna keep an eye on it and make sure that it's safe to eat. So what I do is I take my oven safe thermometer and I put it into the thickest part of the breast. Now, white meat will cook faster than dark meat, but your chicken breasts are so much bigger than your dark meat pieces that it's safe to go ahead and I think, put your thermometer into that, because that way when it gets up to 160, 165, you can pretty much bet the others are gonna be well cooked as well. But you can also move the thermometer and test those to see. So I'm gonna put this in the oven now. Let me do that, and then we're gonna work on our cauliflower while that's going in there, okay? All right, so our chicken is clucking away in the oven, doing its thing, and while that's cooking for the next 40, 45 minutes, we're gonna work on the cauliflower, the mashed cauliflower. Now, anybody who has been doing keto for a hot minute knows that cauliflower is the linchpin in the vegetable game of a keto lifestyle. It is in everything, and especially when you first start doing keto, it takes the place of everything from mashed potatoes to pizza crust. It's nuts. But I will tell you this, as much as I love eating cauliflower, I hate cooking with cauliflower. It is the worst. It is second maybe only to spinach. It just goes everywhere. It looks like a brain. It's got a weird texture. If I were cooking on the beach, you'd see one set of footprints where God carried me while I was preparing the cauliflower. I hate it. I have to take half a Xanax. I'm not even kidding. I'm working right here. I take half a Xanax every time I'm about to start working with cauliflower because it just goes everywhere. It's such a mess to clean up. But that being said, it's really, really good. And you know, you're never gonna have anything where someone's gonna go, oh my God, I can't tell if this is potatoes or cauliflower. No, you know the difference. But especially mashed cauliflower, taking the place of mashed potatoes, and if you do it the loaded style like I'm gonna show you today, is so delicious. But we'll just get to it. So what you're gonna need for this, if you wanna do it the way I do it, you're gonna need a head of cauliflower, and you're gonna put that into florets, which is the horrible process I was telling you about. But once you've got your cauliflower cut up into your florets, you're gonna put that to the side in a bowl. This is again where we come into your taste. You know, it's kind of tough for me to know what you like. I'll just tell you the amounts that I use, and you can kind of go from there. And as I said before, I'll show you the basic version as well, okay? So your core ingredients, if you wanna make really great creamy mashed cauliflower, is gonna be the cauliflower itself, as I said, one head, about medium, and about 3 ounces of cream cheese to 4 ounces. You could even choose half a block to make yourself happy. Those are the main ingredients. And from there, it becomes just kind of putting whatever you want in there to have your taste. Today, we're also gonna add about 3/4 cup of cheese. We're gonna add about 1/3 of a cup of bacon pieces. And we're going to add about 1/2 cup of green onions. Actually, this is maybe 3 green onions that I've chopped up, or I guess sliced rather, the white parts and the green parts. So there's that. And butter, of course, 2 tablespoons of butter, as well as salt and pepper. And again, from there, it's whatever you want. Garlic powder, Tony's, if you want a little spicier, however you want to make it. But the basics you're going to definitely want are the cauliflower and the cream cheese. And the first step, after you put the cauliflower into florets, is you're going to boil this for 10 minutes to soften it up. So I'm going to do that now, and then we're going to circle back and go from there, okay? The cauliflower is done. So I'm going to show you my little trick of what I do at this point. So basically we cooked this, as I said, for 10 minutes and then we drained it. But the main thing you want to do is take like a clean towel, cheesecloth, but actually just a dish towel will work fine. And we want to really get as much liquid off of this as we can, working as quickly as we can because we want to utilize the heat that the cauliflower is putting off so that we can melt our cream cheese easier. More easily, however you would say that. I don't think we got any grammar nuts on here. This is for cooking. So I'm going to try to squeeze, and it's so hot. That's gonna be the hardest thing. And it gets some out, but man alive, it is so hot doing it this way. go use those against it. But any that you can get out is gonna really help. This is the key to not having really watery mashed cauliflower. Just like you would drain your potatoes, so would you the cauliflower. Okay, that's about all I can take. So I'm gonna move this back here. I'm gonna move this over so you guys can see. Put that out of our way. Okay. All right, so let me get this out of the way. Great. So about 10 minutes is gonna be how you're gonna see a really great, oh, and that smells wonderful. Let me just tell you, it's like fart city when you work with cauliflower. It's the other bad thing about working with it. So what you want to do at this point is just mash, mash, mash. You're gonna just take your traditional potato masher, and you'll see that if you've cooked it for about 10 minutes, which is the good, I would say, time to go, you'll see that it mashes just like regular potatoes would. We just want to get it really good mashed up. If you've never done these before, I think you're going to be very pleasantly surprised. I know I was. And again, you're not going to be fooling anyone. No one's going to say, I can't tell which one are the potatoes, but it's pretty good. All right, let's put that out of the way. So we are going to take our 3 ounces of cream cheese. And at this point, I think that you have to make it with the cream cheese. So in my opinion, at this point, this is when you're at the base level of your mashed cauliflower. This is literally, as you just saw, mashed cauliflower. What you do from here will be the way that you customize it to how you want to eat that night. Whether you want to do a loaded version like we're doing tonight, or whether you want to do like, say, garlic and Parmesan, put some garlic powder in there with some Parmesan cheese. However you want to do it, this is a good base to start with, and just add some salt and pepper and butter. But I'll show you exactly how we're going to do it for the loaded version. All right, so there's that. And while this still has some heat on it, I'm going to go ahead and put my cheese in, as well as my bacon pieces, my butter, and my green onions. Again, I told you the measurements of what I was using, but it really is just personal taste. Mix all this up. Now there's one ingredient I did not tell you, and that's because depending on how this looks, this might be where you want to stop after you do your seasonings, of course. And that's going to be probably about a teaspoon or so of salt and about a teaspoon of pepper. Okay. Now the other ingredient, I'm gonna run to the fridge real quick. The other ingredient is cream. So I like for them to be a little creamier, so I add just a splash at a time until I get the consistency that I want. Show you guys how this is looking. That's about how you want it to be. And then also, I mentioned the broccoli. For this meal, I like to do a side of cream cauliflower, and then also a side of broccoli. And the broccoli is really simple. We talked about this before in a different recipe. Go buy the bag. Go buy the bag that's steamable. Make it easy on yourself. If you're doing all this trouble with the cauliflower, the last thing you want to worry about is another head of broccoli. So just go to the store, get the steamable in bag, 5 minutes, throw it in the microwave. No one has to know the better. Put some butter on it. Put some cheese if you want, or just regular salt and pepper. It makes for a nice complete meal. So I'm going to add a tad bit more cream. And just mix this around. Fantastic. Now the chicken's coming along, and I'm going to show you a secret trick at the end of the chicken that makes it really spicy and delicious. Not spicy, crispy. Good God. It's Thursday. I'm making this video on Thursday. I'm at the end of the week, and I'm at the end of my wits. It has been a rough week at work, and honestly, I'm surprised I even have my faculties together at this point. All right, so this looks good and creamy. We've got our cheese melted in there. You'll see the bacon. You'll see the onions, all that good stuff mixed in. I'm gonna put this over to the side, keep it warm while I go check on our chicken. So that ended up being right about 45 minutes, maybe 50. I pulled it when it hit 160. So this is gonna be our last step, and then we're gonna see the finished product. This is where the real magic happens. So I'm gonna take our same sugar-free barbecue sauce that we were using earlier, and we're gonna do one more coat And you can see here on the close-up how I do. I just basically just kind of get a little bit on every piece, one final coat, and we're gonna put this in under the broiler. Now this is one thing, oh, that skin looks crispy, that used to really piss me off when I first started cooking. They would say in recipes, so put it under the broiler, set your broiler and put the meat in or whatever it was. And I would go on there and I would have high and low. And I don't know which one, I'm new to cooking. I don't know which broiler, which high or low it's supposed to be. And that's it. It's like they want you to fail, like they're like, we don't want you to know how to really make this, so we're gonna put the recipe out there, but we're not gonna give you all the secrets. You're gonna have to figure out that broiler thing on your own. And then if you're like me, you're looking at broilers on Google for 45 minutes and still don't know by the time you've looked it all up. So for your benefit, put your broiler at high if you have a setting of high or low. And then we're gonna put this back in under the broiler for 5 minutes or until it catches fire, whichever comes first. And then you're gonna pull that, we're gonna plate it, and I'm gonna show you the finished product. All right, and there you have it. Barbecue chicken with a side of mashed cauliflower and broccoli with a pat of butter. It's a very easy, family-friendly meal that everybody's gonna enjoy, whether they like doing low carb or not. They'll enjoy this meal. And so I think that this will be a great option for, like I said, weekdays, weeknights, weekends, anytime really. So like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more, be sure to click the notification bell, and I will see you next time. Thanks.